Alright, so we're going to try this again. If you're actually listening to the words I say, you know I'm having a hard time with lag. So I've disabled some things and we're going to try again. I've closed everything in the background too. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Get that out of the way. Alright, now I'm going to look at number 2. Number 2 and 1 are a lot alike. For both of these, the goal is y equals a absolute value x minus h plus k, which I have been over about 100 times. I'm going to do 2 because 2 is harder. What I notice is there's a 3, and I don't need a 3 there, so I'm going to pull that 3 out. And when I pull a 3 from 3x, I have an x. When I pull a 3 from a positive 12, I have a plus 4. And I have pulled the 3 out of absolute value, and I can now combine the 2 and the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And there we go. So what do we have here? We have a vertex at -4, -2. Some of y'all being dense and not making the connection on that. We have initial slope of 6, and this is absolute value. Notice I underlined the V. It's absolute value. Looks like a V. All right, so what am I going to have to do here? I'm going to have to go back 4, down 2. I'll put a point right there, and I'm going to rise 6. This is my slope. I'm going to rise 6 and run 1. That has to go both ways. And there's my V. All right, you're supposed to identify domain and range. Your domain, it runs left forever. She runs right forever. She is -infinity to infinity. Your range, your low value here was at -2, because remember this was -4, -2. Your lowest y value is literally -2. And I rise, that's a bracket by the way, I rise from -2 to infinity. And that's that one. 3, notice that exponent, I like using exponents as opposed to radicals because they're easier to type. But this is the cubic root of x. That's the mom. And the cubic root of x is going to look like this. Just have to identify your parts. And think about your shifts here. This is left 1, opposite of sign, down 2, and we have this initial slope, 2. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to graph those things. I like to show the shifts. I don't always do it, but once you start working with functions like these, it's easier on my little brain to do. So, and plus it's time too, because we're going to start the exponentials and we have to start talking about asymptotes. So it's time for me to really show them. Left 1, there's that shift. Down 2, there's that shift. See how mom's got an origin? Child has an origin right here. The difference is, instead of mom rising and running 1, the child rises 2 and runs 1. And if it's going to rise 2 and run 1, it's also going to fall 2 and run backwards 1. And then we're just going to keep mom's shape. Mom comes in from the left from -infinity. She passes through those 3 key points, and she continues on forever to the right to positive infinity and beyond. And that's how hard it is. You have got to be living under a rock if you think that's hard, because it's not. Domain is left forever, right forever, which is -infinity to positive infinity. The range is falling, albeit very slowly forever, and rising, albeit very slowly forever. And by the way, don't mute me. I can think a couple of you juniors who just flash through here and get the answers and then complain that you don't understand. It's you. You're the problem. It's you. Fix the problem. This is the way this has been taught for a long time. 5 is the harder of these two. Your mom, by the way, your mother function here is the cubic root of x again. Now, the issue we have here is that it's not in the right form. Your form is going to be a times cubic roots of x minus h plus k. It's not in that form. It doesn't have an x, it has 27x. And again, don't blindly copy. Listen. Think. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull that 27 out. Well, not yet. Can't just pull it out of a cubic root. But I can do a little bit of factoring. If I pull a 27 from 27x, there's an x. If I pull it from 81, there's a 3. And then I have this minus 2 floating around. Now, I know, and you should also know as well, that the cubic root of 27 is 3. 3 cubed is 27. So we're just going to move that out front. We've already got a 1 here. We're just going to multiply that by a 3. And there we go. Now we're good. We are right 3, and we are down 2. And here's our initial slope. Now this is kind of funny because it's fractional. We fall 3/2 a unit and run 1. It is initial slope. It is only good for 1 block. That's it. 1 block is all you get. Again, hopefully your ISO rating's small. All right, what do we got here? We're going to go right 3. We're going to go down 2. And there's our new origin. Now, negative 3/2 is like negative 1.5, isn't it? So I get to fall a unit and a half. It'll be somewhere around there, and I run 1. Oh, it was negative, wasn't it? Oops. I almost messed up. It was negative. That's a reflection. So instead of this, I have this. So I actually need to be falling to the right a unit and a half over 1. I'm glad I caught that. And the opposite action on the left, go back a unit and a half, which is about right in there somewhere. And then I can draw in the rest of my graph. Come in from the right, try and pass through those 3 points. This should probably be aiming up a little bit, but there you go. There she is. Look at this bright green, man. D does not stand for dumb or door. It stands for domain. And it is running left forever, and it is running right forever. R stands for range, not some other words you may have been thinking about. Runs down forever, runs up forever. All right, that's that one. I haven't done a square root yet, so I'm going to go ahead and clear this page, and I'm going to do number 6. This has a mother function of square root of x, which is the arm, goes through 0, 0, 1. Boy, this tracking is off. Looks something like that. My pen's not tracking right, but this is the arm. All right, that's what I'm going to draw. It has the same issue as 5 in that it is not in the form, because your form is y equals a square roots of x minus h plus k. So we could do our favorite F word, and that F word is factor. I'm going to pull a 16 from the x, 16x to 32. That'll leave me with x plus 2 in parentheses. And the square root of 16 is 4. And negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Now that negative means that this arm is going to be upside down. That's a reflection on the x-axis. That's what she means. We have a left 2. We have a down 3. And that again is our initial slope. Been over that so many times, I don't know why you can't remember this. But I say these things every single year. It's not like you're unique. Your group might be a little slower than the other ones. But it's mainly a work ethic thing. It really is. I mean, there's some kids who just don't get it, but for the most part, with your group, it's a work ethic thing. This bare minimum thing y'all do. Can't stand it. Anyways, there she is. My arm is going to start here, and it's going to trend down here. But I have to follow this. I have to fall 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as I run 1. It's a pretty tall upside down arm, and it's just going to curve like that for the rest of eternity. It is going to start flatlining. Don't think it's not. It will eventually flatline out to some degree. It'll look flatter. And now we're good to go. Now this is a legit point. All right. So when I start talking about my domain, I'm allowed to be -2. In fact, I could think about it right there. I don't know if I've talked about it in class or not, but 4 square root of something, anything must be greater than or equal to 0. So x plus 2 must be greater than or equal to 0. X is greater than or equal to -2. That's one way you could write it. You could use good old set builder. You could say all values of x such that x is greater than or equal to -2. Or you could use interval notation, -2 to infinity. Your range here, if you were to plug a -2 into this thing, it would literally spit back a -3. Your your high value is -3. And your low value is down here at -infinity. Looks something like that. Or, and hear me out, all values of y such that y is less than or equal to -3. Because you need to be competent in both set builder and interval form. I know you're not. That's why we keep doing it. There's really nothing that interesting on this page. Like there's not. I mean, there's some old school stuff. Like there's 10. Look at that. Look at that. That's a parabola. Half of y'all be drawing lines. You will. You be drawing lines because you're stuck in the 7th grade or something. Anyways, what do we have here? We have right 2. We have down 3. And we have our initial slope. So, right 2, down 3. I'm going to draw in those shifts. That nice, beautiful yellow on purple there. And I need to fall 2 and run 1. So I need to fall 2 and run 1. There is my parabola. What is the domain of this parabola? It's any other parabola, negative infinity to infinity. They're all negative infinity to infinity. Range you got to work for, the high value is -3, and the low value is negative infinity. Ta-da! All right, easy peasy, easy peasy. I don't know which one I should do, 13 or 14. I ain't doing 11. I will tell you 11, though. You know, your mom is x cubed. You can tell my tracking's off here, can't you? You're going to look like that. You're just going to shift it. All right, what do we got on 13? 13, we use the zero product property. We have x-intercepts at 2, 0 and -4, 0. Now, halfway between is the axis of symmetry. Now, halfway between, we put this at -1. It's at x equals -1. Why is that a big deal? Because if I have x, I can find y. So I'm going to find g of -1 real quick. I don't know why juniors act like this is a hard thing, but I have seen so many students this year who will write that down and then stop. Like, I want to tell you things, but I can't say them. I don't want to hurt your feelings. Like, if you're stopping there, somebody needs to smack you upside the forehead because you shouldn't stop there. You're supposed to know what -1 minus 2 is. It's 1. You're supposed to know what -1 plus 4 is. Oh, sorry, it's not 1, it's -3. Here I am talking crap. It's -3. -1 plus 4 is +3. And if I do all this math right here, assuming I'm doing it right because I'm tired, I would get -18. So I now know the vertex is at -1, -18. And I don't have enough room for 18 tick marks. I'm just going to put it down here and label it -1, -18. And then I'm going to connect my dots. And there's my parabola. Now, how did I know it was a parabola? How did I know it was a parabola? Because I did the power function. Whoops. That's how I knew it. I did the power function. We've talked about that. You do 2x times x. And it's 2x squared. That's how I knew it was a parabola. So, anyways, need domain and range. Domain, it's a parabola, -infinity to infinity. Range, the low y value is -18. The high y value is infinity. And that's 13. I'm going to go ahead and do 14 for you. I am. But again, don't blindly copy. Don't blindly copy. Think. Reason. Try. What do we got here? We got 14. 14 is in good old STD form. She is. Now, I know she's a quadratic, so therefore I know that the vertex is at opposite b over 2a. So x would be opposite of a -6 is 6 over 2a, which is twice a 2, and it's going to be ugly. It's a fraction. That's 6 over 4, which is 3 over 2. By the way, we call the x-coordinate h. To find k, we plug it back in. And then we literally do 5th grade math. All right, 3/2 squared is 9/4. 6/2 is 3 times 3 is 9 plus 7. 2 times 9/4 would be 4.5 or 9/2 because they cancel. Anyways, we have 4.5 minus 9 plus 7. And we put that all together and we get 2.5. So I'm going to write this up here. HK, the vertex, was found to be, if you like decimals, that's fine. It's probably more reasonable for most of y'all. 1.5, 2.5. I wish you would learn to embrace fractions because you won't actually be good at math until you do. You'll always be limited by numbers until then. All right. What's the other thing that's easy to find? We're going to find the y-intercept. And we do that by letting x be 0. And it's going to be that guy right there. So we put a 0 there, we put a 0 there, it's going to be 7. That's enough to graph. So our vertex is at 1.5, 2.5. About right there. And I need to grab this and shift it. My y-intercept's at 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, the vertex lies on the line of symmetry, and there's a point 1.5 to the right, so there must be another point 1.5 to the left. And there is my parabola. Lame, huh? Domain, once again, is negative infinity to infinity. Range, the low y value was right there at 2.5. It's kind of hard to see because I messed up, but that was 1.5, 2.5. So the range, the low y value is 2.5, and she rises to infinity. Working on my lunch break right now for you kids. Yep. I am going to take a small personal break. Be about 30 seconds. And I am back. Let me move this out of the way for you. I'm supposed to write an equation of this graph shown. Now, I know my mother functions. I know that the MF for this thing is, it's doing it again. X, Y. All I did was pause it to the 1/3. So all I did was pause it. Okay, I'm just going to stop since we're going to be like this. It's so uncool.